Good morning, everyone. So for this Monday, we're going to be making salt dough, and it's almost like Play-Doh. So if you like working with clay, I think you'll really enjoy this project. So today is going to be part one, which is building my salt dough sculpture. And then on Thursday, we will paint it. So if you make one today, or even tomorrow, Thursday or Friday would be a great time for you to paint it because it'll give it time to dry. So we're going to start with 1 cup of flour, and I'm going to put it in my bowl. I just all-purpose flour and salt. So 1 cup of flour, and we're going to do half a cup of salt. So if you've got multiple kids in your family who want to make something, and so you can double this recipe. So you could do 2 cups of flour and 1 cup of salt. And then we're just going to mix this together. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure my salt and flour are mixed together. Okay. So the oil is optional. It just kind of makes the dough a little bit easier to work with. Like, not, I don't know, like I just think it makes it a little bit easier to work with, but it's definitely not necessary. So you're going to use, oops, I forgot to show you, 1 tablespoon. And I didn't even completely fill it all the way, so you don't even quite need that much. And it's just vegetable oil. If you've got olive oil, that works fine too. Any kind of oil just to give it a little bit, I don't want to use the M word, moist, but it just keeps it a little easier to use, more flexible. Okay, so now I've got 1 cup, or I'm sorry, a half a cup of water. The water you want to add in slowly, and you might not even end up needing the whole half cup. So I'm just going to start with a little bit. And you'll notice that the dough almost becomes like kind of crumbly. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit more. My mom would be so proud because I'm not a good cook or baker, but this is almost making it seem like I am. And I love whisks, but then you gotta like get the stuff out. Okay. Okay, so you'll notice now it's got kind of like those bigger chunks. So it's getting to a point now where I can almost just go ahead and use my hands to mix it up. And you can almost feel it starting to get that like Play-Doh texture. Okay. So you're just kind of gonna knead it like you would if you were making cookies, which I've made a lot of during this time of being home. So you just want to make sure you get all the loose flour stuff. It's all sticking to my fingers. All of my friends who like to get nice and messy will love this. So see how you can even start to like pack it and it's becoming more doughy. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit more water so that I can get these little extra pieces of flour. So I did use this whole half cup. Looks like it was perfect amount that I needed. Okay, So we're just going to make sure that there's not really any loose crumbling apart flour. So this is like a pretty good size pile of salt dough. So if you've, you can always cut the recipe in half if you don't need this much and you want to make something small. But I'd say for one child, like this is a good, amount, and you could even split it into for 2 kids. But this is a good amount. So I'm just kneading it together to make sure that the water's all through and everything's even. Okay, so there's my salt dough. I'm going to start my sculpture. So I'm going to make a cupcake because I thought that would be something fun to make. I love Wayne Thiebaud and his desserts. So I'm just going to rip a piece off. This dough starts to dry out, so you have to use it right when you make it. And I'm just going to I got a cupcake, I don't even know what you call this cupcake thing, like a cupcake holder. The little paper insert. And I'm just going to press my salt dough into it so that it can start to form that cupcake shape and get the edges on there, like the little bumpy edges. And then I'm going to try to make sure it stays like a round shape. Okay, so there's the base of my cupcake. And then I'm just going to make like a surface so I can start to make my frosting. So this would be, when I go to paint this, I would probably paint it the color of the dough. So all my friends who work with clay know that when you add a new piece on, you have to slip and score, which is water, and you have to scratch it and mix water. You do not have to do that with salt dough, so I'm just going to lay this on there. And then to make the swirly part of the cupcake, I'm actually just going to make a coil. So that's where you're rolling the piece of clay. Oops, there must have been a part of it that needed more water. Okay, so I'm going to roll out my coil. And I can start to build it around my cupcake. Oops. Okay. And unlike a traditional clay, if you leave a space, it will not explode. My kids know that if you leave an air pocket inside your clay piece, it might explode. So again, salt dough is kind of dry, so you just have to be careful when you're working with it that it doesn't get like crumbly. Okay. So you can see the side of my cupcake. Could probably have some more smoother spots. All my students also know that I'm not the best sculptor in the world. Okay, so there's my cupcake with the frosting. Probably wouldn't make much of a better cupcake in real life, honestly. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add some sprinkles by rolling it into a ball and then sticking it on. So these will be big sprinkles. And once I'm done and happy with it, sorry, I'm just gonna add a few more. Okay, so now my cupcake's got lots of sprinkles. I'm gonna make sure they're all pushed on. Okay, so there's my cupcake. I'm gonna peel this off. So that it leaves the indent of the lines. And you don't have to make a cupcake, by the way. You can make anything that makes you happy. I should have said that in the beginning, sorry. So now I'm going to let this sit for several days. So wherever you put your art piece, it's gonna sit there for several days. So 48 hours, which would be 2 days, to 72 hours, which would be 3 days. So it's a really good idea to try to find a spot in your house where you can set your salt dough sculpture to dry. And it's nice if you can kind of flip it, but like, I don't know, mine will probably be hard to flip. So do your best to find a spot that's dry and cool. Let your salt sculpture dry, and then I will be back for painting it on Thursday. Have a great day.